Tony. Say something nice about your hair.
Tony Kornheiser, the side stayed loyal.
And loyal, is that the word we're looking for?
So nobody's going to know what you were laughing at before we did the show.
No.
And we had to bust that open.
Yeah,
and no one's going to know about your family history.
No
one's going to know all the good things. Unless somehow we can just bootleg that tape out there for just about
everything.
everyone.
Goes away forever.
That would be very funny. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. We will get to Jimmy Butler returning to practice and yelling at his GM. But we begin today with the controversial issue of how long CC Sabathia was allowed to pitch last night. The veteran Yankee starter used 20 pitches to get out of a bases-loaded jam in the first inning. By the third inning, Sabathia was on his way to 59 pitches when he gave up run-scoring hits to Ian Kinsler and Eduardo Nunez. In just 3 innings, Sabathia gave up 2 walks and 5 hits. Wilbon, did Aaron Boone leave him in too long?
No, not for me, but I don't judge these things the same way that new wave baseball devoted to numbers people judge them. I'm shocked at even when pitchers are completely effective and they come out after 70 pitches and they've given up nothing. So no, not to me. Now, I thought that the Yankee hitters were primarily responsible for this. Okay, that's another one.
That's right.
But no, I'm going to blame guys like Giancarlo Stanton. Yeah. Now, I'm not going to blame the pitching or the decision to leave him in less or longer. I'm not going to blame that.
I'm not going to bury CC Sabathia for a variety of reasons. He has the second most wins of any active pitcher, one behind Bartolo Colon.
Colon still active?
Yes, he is. He's 42 ahead of Justin Verlander, who we like a lot.
Yeah.
69 ahead of your boy John Lester, who you love.
I do.
87 ahead of Max Scherzer, who I love. If I'm Aaron Boone, I think I can reasonably expect CC Sabathia to give me 5 innings, and I'm not yanking him at 3. And by the way, let me say this. When he comes out, it's 3-0. It's not 16-0. It's 3-0. The Yankees have 7 more full at-bat innings. Make it up.
I agree with you, but you know when you can't make it up when Giancarlo Stanton, making $1 billion a week or whatever he's getting, goes out there and leaves 15 runners stranded during the series by himself.
Yeah, but not in this one game.
15 in the series. He didn't do anything last night either. So, no, you can't just look at pitching and say, oh, he's given up 3 runs. We got to get him out of there.
Do you remember when Sabathia was pitching for Milwaukee, and he came to Milwaukee right around the All-Star break?
Yes.
And he went 11-2 in the second half of the season. He pitched Milwaukee into this thing.
Yeah.
But, as Shaq would say, 28's not 38, bro, because it was 10 years ago.
Do the Yankees look at what happened at home, losing those 2 games, huge disappointment, and go and get your boy Bryce Harper? Do they look at their lineup and say, we're flawed? We need a guy like that.
I don't think they're flawed, but that's a great addition.
They're flawed, leaving all those runners on base, losing 2 at home. Of course, the Yankees whined afterward. CC Sabathia ripped in the home plate umpire Angel Hernandez, who doubles most of the time as a punching bag for Major League Baseball players. Let's listen.
I don't think Angel Hernandez should be umping playoff games. He's absolutely terrible. He's terrible behind the plate today. He's terrible at first base. It's amazing that how he's getting a job to pitch and to play to umpire in these playoff games.
Man, Tony Sabathia gave up 3 runs and 5 hits over those 3 innings, as you mentioned last night. Is this complaint legit, or given the result, doesn't it sound just like sour grapes?
You think Sabathia just took a shot at Angel Hernandez, don't you?
Yeah.
It's a big shot.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what Rick Porcello said, because he was the pitcher who Angel Hernandez was also calling balls and strikes for, but he was pitching for Boston. This is a direct quote. Throw the ball over the plate, CC. You got to throw the ball over the white part of the plate, and then you get a strike called. That is a shot. I will say this. It sounds like sour grapes, but CC Sabathia's history with Angel Hernandez is this. In games,
it's a good history.
It's very good.
He's like Bob Gibson with Hernandez behind the plate.
3-1 with 1.45 ERA. So that seems to me to say that it's not quite sour grapes. I mean, he was looking even in the first batter, he was looking for the high outside strike and getting nothing.
But there was like one pitch that I think everybody would agree was incorrectly called in terms of balls and strikes. Hernandez with Sabathia on the mound. So this is, you know what? When you lose like this, and I understand it's particularly difficult for the Yankees to lose at home to the Red Sox.
2 in a row.
But you know what? If you want to, walk by their locker room playing New York from Sinatra.
No. Don't do it.
If you want to do that, then live with the result when you get your butts humiliated.
Do you know what?
And they were humiliated.
Do you know what team Ian Kinsler plays for now? plays for Boston.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, Ian Kinsler said, I'm amazed this guy has a job. The other night,
kill him. They crush
umping
him.
first base, Mike, umping first, not the plate. He had 3 calls reversed at first. That's an awful night. It's an awful night.
He's got a discrimination suit out there, Tony, but also baseball has allowed him to umpire an all-star game, a couple of playoffs last year and now this year.
Pedro Martinez, quote, is on TV the other night. It doesn't matter how many times he sues baseball, he's as bad as there is. Okay? So now we look forward instead of backwards. Take off the glasses. I can read a prompter. The Red Sox leave the Bronx. They go home to face the Houston Astros. Only the Red Sox with 108 wins had more victories than 103 for Houston. This is the second largest amount of wins for 2 teams facing each other in the playoffs ever. Wilbon, who should be favored?
I would think that this would be called. I'm not a Vegas guy like you.
Just pick a
say
team.
because when
Pick
you
a
say who
team.
should be favored, you go with betting thoughts,
No,
and I
pick
don't.
a team.
I'm going to go with the team with the starting pitching. And the starting pitching, as far as I'm concerned, I know Boston looked good because if Sale has one good start for the Red Sox in the next series, they're going to be tough to beat. If he has 2 good starts, they're going to win the series. But I'm going with Houston because of their starting pitching. And what I see is an advantage.
And that's fair. So you think they should be favored?
Yes.
I think Houston is going to win. I think Boston should be favored.
Why?
Because they won more games, because they scored more runs than anybody in baseball, 79 more than Houston.
Wait a minute, wasn't Houston's run differential better?
I didn't say that,
what's
did
the,
I?
what's
I
the
said
more
scored
important
more
number?
runs. Bigger offense.
So
Bigger
what?
offense.
You get a big offense
They have the
with bad
presumptive
pitching
MVPs.
for
They're going to be
160
Betts or
games.
Martinez. And when Sale was healthy, he was the best pitcher in the league. So let's get to the second pitcher who's going to start. David Price. Why is he starting? He's
0-9.
What, as a postseason, why is he starting?
Hunch. Managers used to play hunches. They used to not turn to their general managers who had some lackey in the dugout with a computer to tell them who to start. Cora's playing a hunch, I guess.
Would you play a hunch on a guy who was 0-9 in the postseason, whose team was 0-10 in his starts?
For 25 years in dugouts with managers, some of whom were in the Hall of Fame, and they sometimes played hunches that seemed out of nowhere. They seemed insane.
And half of them were actually insane.
Half of them were
this guy, as a reliever in the postseason, is good. This guy against Houston, as a reliever last year in the postseason, 6 2/3 inning and no runs.
And you could pitch him almost every game.
So why wouldn't you do that?
Playing a hunch.
No, you start Porcello, you start Uvalde. That's what you do. That's how it works.
That's not what he's doing.
That's what I'm doing.
So since he's going to start at least one game, don't you think the Astros will win in that case? Light him up?
Do you listen to this show?
I try not to listen to you.
Did you listen?
Listen to me. Speaking of, we have more than a Jimmy Butler update today. That excites you, doesn't it, Tone?
No.
We got Jimmy Butler news with nobody particularly close to completing a deal for Butler. The Timberwolves All-Star showed up in practice today. Practice, according to Woj, with spirit and even some chippiness. Word is he dominated practice and at one point screamed at GM Scott Layden, quote, "You need me. You can't bleep and win without me," close quote. Succinct. Tony, does this make things better or worse for the T-Wolves?
Short term. Today, tomorrow, short term. Much better. Infinitely better. If I'm the GM, if I'm Scott Layden, and I got Jimmy Butler back. First of all, I didn't want to trade Jimmy Butler. Right. Jimmy Butler wanted to trade Jimmy Butler. So if I'm Scott Layden and he wants to yell at me, I sit in a different room. It's okay.
You sit in the same room so he can't yell at you.
I don't care what he does. I got him on the court. Now, down the road, it is possible that the relationship with Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins will fissure to such a degree that something will have to be done. But short term, my coach is happy, my GM is happy, and I'm getting on the court, and my anger is making me happy.
My position from moment one of this story was you keep Jimmy Butler.
It's the best player you got.
He's the best player on the team.
Yeah.
He might be the second best player in the history of the team after Kevin Garnett. Because after Kevin Garnett left, they didn't get a sniff of the playoffs for forever. They were third in the packed West with Jimmy Butler featured in that lineup.
Kevin Love had great statistics, but they did not make the playoffs.
They didn't make the playoffs.
They did not.
They are better off. And if he wants to jump on Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins,
let him.
What that does is it stops Tibbs from having to do it. And so, Tony, that's the dynamic. Let me ask you something. You think Jimmy Butler could possibly be as tough on teammates as, say, Kobe Bryant?
He'd be in that category with him
Larry
and Michael Jordan.
Bird?
No, he could be.
Michael Jordan?
He could be, but
no.
But in order to be that kind of person, you have to win.
He hasn't won at that level.
He's got a $20 million contract, and you want to say, just play. Just you played with him last year. Just
he's
right.
at practice.
Well, okay. So the next question is, he's at practice because he wants to keep the clock moving on his free agency.
He wants to play.
Okay. Do you think he stays there all year?
Maybe that depends on the team. If they go up to third again in the jam-packed West, and you get some results out of Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns, even if they're uncomfortable.
Didn't Towns sign a long-term extension recently?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's staying there.
Okay, so if you want to get on him, get on him. Larry Bird got on Kevin McHale. Kevin McHale better or not as good as Karl Anthony Towns?
Slightly better by this much.
So there's no institutional memory when it comes to this stuff.
This last story is admittedly a small story, but it is important because it tests the limits of what is fair and what is not. We're going to show you this James Harden play from last night. Watch this play. We're going to show it to you a lot. Watch it again. This was not called traveling on the floor, even though Harden clearly takes a bunch of steps without dribbling. The NBA says he was gathering. I say, what was he gathering? I say he was walking. Wilbon, what do you say?
It's not a travel. I don't want to see it called a travel, even if it's a travel. The rules were rewritten, I want to say in like 2009 or 10, but they were rewritten relatively recently to allow for this. He's getting off a three-point shot. I understand your boy Rick Barry didn't have that opportunity. But you know what?
Larry Bird didn't have it. Michael Jordan didn't have it.
In the history of your life, Julius Erving. Don't tell me Julius never took the extra step going to the basket.
Never.
Stop.
Never.
Don't tell me Clyde Frazier,
never.
who you love.
Never.
I don't want to hear this.
Never. They played under the rules of basketball at that time.
This is a rule now.
So,
he gathered and he bunny stepped.
This is an Adam Silver favoring the players
rule. This was done under David Stern.
Let me tell you the result of this.
What?
That James Harden now will be able to get off shots anywhere on the court.
Can he get them off in June?
And he will still, in the fourth quarter of an important playoff game, score no points.
I just ask you.
And that's what's going to happen.
Don't show me that. That's a waste of our time. You want Steph Curry getting it blocked, or you want to see him getting it off? You want to see Klay Thompson, who doesn't even do that, by the way. Stop with that. Get that video out of here.
That's a very good video.
It's a waste of time.
It shows the destruction.
They're not going to call
the destruction of the foundation of basketball.
And that you will sit there and say it's okay to call these stupid passes.
How does Patrick Mahomes really feel about Tom Brady?
Some
surprisingly blunt answers are on the way.
Look at the video while you defend your quarterbacks. Jason Garrett, is he worried about getting fired? We're going to ask a version of him. Role plays next.
Do you want defense or don't you want defense? Are you a defensive guy or not?
If you can hit the quarterback.
No. What about in the NBA?
If you can hit the quarterback.
What about the NBA? Do you want no defense?
Quarterback's the most important position in American
sports. You want defense in the NBA?
Only if it's in the NFL.
Okay, good. That's an unbelievably fantastic answer.
If you can hit Tom Brady, you can call
Mike, I will give, and you will receive.
All right, but I'm going to have to get the spectacles on. Who am I?
You are Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
You're playing Tom Brady on Sunday. What do you think of him?
What do I think of Tom Brady? What does everybody think of Tom Brady?
It's great.
He's the greatest player ever. Didn't your partner, Will Bond, your co-host, didn't he dub him the Golden Boy?
No, actually, I dubbed him the Golden Boy.
No, I think Will Bond did that.
You could look that up.
I always liked Will Bond better when I was a kid watching that show when I was 6, 7 years old.
Thank you.
Hey.
Doesn't sound like your voice,
let me just whisper this to you, Tony, because I don't want anybody hearing this and having any bulletin board material.
Yeah.
I love Tom Brady. He's old.
He is old.
He's in the 70s, right? From the 70s. He's in the museum.
Yeah.
Tom Brady
He's
in the rocking chair.
He's in the Artifact
guy
Museum.
Who's always either screaming at his own linemen or pointing to the officials.
You know what else he's doing all the time? He's also getting rings all the time.
Yeah, but he can't throw it like I can he?
No, he cannot.
Can he throw it like that? Can he move like that? Can he run and throw on the run?
Can he move like Jagger? Is that what you're going to say?
That's right. Maybe, or
Can
Aaron
I ask
Rodgers.
you a question, Patrick?
What?
At the end of the game, truthfully, don't you want to go up to him and get his autograph because he's the greatest of all time?
I'm going to have a selfie take. I'm going to go right up to him, selfie with the Golden Boy. You think his wife will be there?
I have no idea.
I'd rather take a picture with him.
Who am I?
You are Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett. Don't you think you could get fired?
Do I think I could get fired?
Yeah.
I used to think that I would get fired after every game. Certainly after losses, I thought I would get fired. I've been here more than 8 years. I have won one playoff game. I figured Jerry would say, this is it. I went to Princeton. He went to Arkansas. We have nothing in common. But you know what I realize now? I'm never going to get fired.
You get fired.
He's not going to fire me.
Why?
I don't even have a game plan anymore.
Oh, I'll bet you.
The only thing I think about is when am I going to punt? And what is he going to do about it? And he does nothing. I could take Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott out, and I could replace them with Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani, and that old goat wouldn't fire me. He needs his glasses clean. He can't even see me. You know how long I'm going to be here? I'm going to be
Jason.
George Hallis. That's how long I'm going to be here.
If you lose Sunday,
What?
the bet here from
What?
this side of the set is you're gonna get fired.
No,
You're fired.
no,
Yeah, you're
no,
going.
he doesn't
You're
fire
going
me.
this
No, he doesn't.
month.
He just doesn't.
You're not gonna escape October.
He doesn't, but he just doesn't.
Who am I?
Ooh. Your Giants quarterback, Eli Manning.
Good.
That's an old picture of Eli Manning.
Yeah.
Are you the problem with New York's offense?
Let me just mention this, Tony, before we talk about New York's offense. There's two teams in New York, and one of them belongs sort of to you. Mm-hmm. You know, and you're happy about this quarterback. You and Greeny keep talking about this Darnold guy.
No, I don't ever talk about him.
How'd it go for the last few guys? Mark Sanchez, check
Bad.
or no check.
Bad.
Tebow.
Bad.
Geno Smith.
Bad.
Bryce Petty.
Bad.
Christian Hackenberg, whoever he is.
Bad.
Greg McElroy.
Bad.
Kellen Clemens.
Why are we talking about the Jets?
I'm just saying because
Why?
I got rings.
Yeah, you got two.
And I can stuff them in my ears. I couldn't even hear the booing going on in Giant Stadium right now. Look, we've been in a slump for,
2
5,
years.
6 years, maybe.
2, 3 years. What do you think?
Been a while, but
do
we
you
got
want
2
Odell Beckham?
championships.
Do you want him? He is
Who?
Odell Beckham. He's killing
he?
you. Yeah, you don't want him, do you?
No, he may as well be Kyle Rote as far as I'm concerned. What are you talking about? Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham, he goes out and he puts one hand up and I hit it because he's got stickum. Don't tell anybody. He could get fined for the stickum. You think Manning's going to get benched this year again?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I was a Jet fan, not John. I'm not like you, boy.
You were Washington head coach Jay Gruden.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the job you're doing with your team?
Okay, now I'm not going to lie to you. We've had some bumps in the road. It's been tough. We got crushed in New Orleans, but it could be worse.
How?
Do you see what my brother's doing in Oakland?
Yeah.
He's tanking. They
Yeah.
paid him $100 million. He's got one win. He's complaining, I don't have a
So
pass
get alone.
rush.
He's your brother.
You traded Khalil Mack. Hello. In my particular case, I got twice as many wins as him, and I cost half the price. I am a bargain. People in Washington, you got the right Gruden. You know what I'm like? I'm value added. I'm like the buffet at Golden Corral.
Nobody knows
I don't
what
cost
that
you a
is.
lot of money.
Nobody
You
knows
keep
that.
eating forever.
Here's why you shouldn't be crushing your brother.
Love my
Because you're
brother.
going
I'm
to need
better.
a soft landing place when you get fired after this season, Jay. Who's going to hire you but not your brother?
I think we're doing very, very well. We got
Really?
a big win this year against Green Bay, don't
that
we?
was 2 weeks ago.
You
got
is it
crushed.
this year?
You got
How many
crushed.
wins does he have?
He's got one. Half as many as you.
Enough role play. Was it good for you? Let's take one last break, but I like role play. Did Mike Tomlin, because it's like you're saying it, but they don't know it's you. Did Mike Tomlin deserve a fine for what he said about NFL officiating?
All guys do is complain now. Joel Embiid signs a big shoe deal. But do big guys sell sneakers, Joel Embiid?
Only to people who have size 19 feet.
Shaq sold some sneakers, right?
To who? To people in the time. People, happy 30th birthday, Linval Joseph. This is the 330-pound defensive tackle for the Minnesota Vikings, who picked up a Carson Wentz fumble last Sunday and went 64 yards for a touchdown. There is nothing better than a fat guy rolling down the track in an NFL game and getting into the end zone untouched. And afterwards, we got this great shot of the big man reaching for the oxygen mask, needing oxygen at sea level in Philadelphia.
You read the weight. I think of the Purple People Eaters. Didn't Alan Page weigh like 100 pounds less than
Yes,
that guy?
absolutely.
100 pounds
and
less.
then became a judge, right?
Yeah.
Happy anniversary, Raul Ibanez. On this day 6 years ago, Joe Girardi called on you to pinch hit for the struggling Alex Rodriguez in the 9th inning of Game 3 in the ALDS. And you responded with a home run to tie the game. And you followed it with a monster Ruthian shot to the second deck in the 12th for the walk-off victory over the Orioles. So if you're A-Rod, you're hating the fact that you were taken out for this guy. But this guy hit 2 homers. You've got to tip your hat.
He did more than tip his hat. He was waiting on the top stair of the dugout. Didn't you? Weren't you watching the video?
No, I was
Give him a
talking.
big hug. Come on.
Happy trails, Dwight Howard, the newly acquired center for the Washington Wizards, who has missed preseason games for a slight back injury, is expected to miss even more games at the start of the regular season next week for what is being described as a painful issue in his buttocks. So he has what he is. He is living out his destiny.
Don't you
That
think
got laughs
if
when I did it in
he's
rehearsal.
Healthy. It upgrades the Wizards at that position.
100,000%. Is he healthy right now?
Apparently not. Do you
What's the
think-
over-under on games for him this year?
I was hoping 60. Now, it seems like I may be bidding a little high.
One error. Wilbon wondered if Bartolo Colon was active this year.
Or alive.
He made 24 starts for the Rangers. Thanks for paying attention. Let's go to the
Not
big
watching the
finish.
Rangers.
Mike Tomlin fined 25 large for his criticism of the refs after Sunday's win over the Falcons. Is that fair?
Probably. There's just too much criticism now of the refs. And if it's not a roughing the passer penalty, just stop. Deion Sanders' son has an offer to play football from Florida State. Best spot for young Sanders.
So that's where Deion played.
Yeah.
So it might not be because he's
Don't wanna
not as
follow in
good as
Dad's
Deion.
footsteps.
You know why he's not as good as Deion?
Why?
Because nobody was as good as Deion. You know why Deion didn't have 100,000 interceptions? You do know why.
Yeah, because they didn't throw at him for entire seasons.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because he's the best. Under Armour signed Joel Embiid. Can Embiid move shoes?
Big guys don't usually move shoes. Smaller guys, 6'6" and under. So this would be new if he does. I hope he does. Nashville Predators raised 3 banners for their home opener last night, but they didn't win the cup. 3 banners.
No, listen, people. They got the President's Trophy, the Central Division champion, and the Western Conference regular season winner.
Stop.
Here's what you raise. Stanley Cup winner, Stanley Cup finalist.
That's it.
Or else shut up.
Empty your ceiling.
Last one, the Golden Knights visit the Capitals tonight in the Stanley Cup rematch. Who you got?
Get the Cappies at home. Why not?
They're scoring a
You going to
lot
the
of
game?
goals this year.
Huh? You going to the game?
I'm not. How about you? We're out of time. We'll try and do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. You can get the podcast on the app or Apple Podcasts. I'm going back on Embiid. He's so charismatic. Maybe he can sell shoes. First big man to do it.
Henry DeLozier, shout out. You were a good partner. Money, money.